Did I slip? No.
Hi, this is Rob Eubanks with the Therapeutic Speakeasy, video correspondent here, and I'm with Dr. Trevon Clow and Dr. Andy Brown, and we're going to be doing an interesting series here on virtual reality and the application to mental health. This is a big growing industry, worldwide, with a lot of different applications, and looking at the field of mental health, how it applies, and how we're applying it or not applying it in many cases. So that's kind of what we're going to discuss here. So my first question, Trevon, would be: so why is this technology? Why is it technology that mental health should be paying attention to, especially right now?
Well, where we got to in terms of the lenses and the setup and the fact that it can sit lightly on your head and the computing power, we got to the point where people are no longer getting sick, and they call it presence, meaning the unconscious mind, the auditory and the visual accept the information that's coming in, and so it feels like you're there.
So let's back up for a minute, and if you could define a little bit more for people watching, like, what is this technology that we're talking about exactly?
It's ski goggles that sit on your head comfortably with a screen for each eye, and so the difference maybe between your monitor and this is it's 3D, and so it's not just watching two monitors. It actually gives a sense of depth, and as you move your head and you track, the sensors in it move it with you, so you actually feel like you're there, and you actually feel like you have depth. And so if something is coming at you, your instincts are to get out of the way.
How much are we really engaging the brain and the user in an immersive experience?
It's good enough. They call it the screen door effect, and that's where it's close enough that you can see the pixels. And so in this latest version, there's sort of two out there that are really kind of competing. They came out first. They got it. There's the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift, and the screen door effect is almost gone. So visually it's there, and 90 frames per second is what they're talking about. And so the head tracking, you don't get sick anymore. You don't get sick unless whatever you were doing in there, you would get sick doing it also.
So by screen door effect, you mean what exactly?
You can see the space between the pixels.
Okay, and that has the effect of how does that affect the user?
It's just not quite as clear visually.
Okay.
And it's still there, but it's kind of, they nailed it. It's insignificant now.
Okay, so now it's not so much an issue. So Andy, so looking at some specific applications, I know in your work with trauma and different areas of that field, and digging into this technology. So what are you seeing now in terms of possible applications, and how this might be something that we really even more so need to be paying attention to, and how we might be able to use this?
Right. Fairly significant applications already in use. The technology is being used with applications like Brave Mind, Strive, these kinds of things for vets, post-traumatic stress disorder, these kinds of things. Very realistic exposure therapy that can be done in the office. By and large, a lot of therapists don't use exposure therapy because over a period of time, exposure therapy impacts the therapist, not just the client. With this, it's more accessible. It's it will allow for reduced stress, with the therapist that's using the application, and also it makes it incredibly accessible for the client. It's becoming more affordable. You can do it in your office. This is a huge shift for our industry moving forward.
Well, it's kind of interesting. Mental health hasn't been dramatically impacted by technology, which most fields have, and so we've been sort of dodging this, and I think this one, it may be worthwhile kind of looking forward, because this one may really impact us. The reason being, with presence and what they call immersion, your head accepts wherever the goggles happen to be, so you can be anywhere. So we had this period where we thought, there was going to be a lot of video therapy and things like that, and that hasn't really happened to the point where it impacted us greatly. Well, this one might. it might be that much more convenient because we can be anywhere with anyone at any time.
That's it for today. This is our first segment in a series that's going to be upcoming, and our next we're actually going to be using the Oculus and having different participants participate in that for a first time and doing some interviews with them about that and getting more in depth to the actual application process of this and the implications for our field. So thanks for joining us.
Did I slip nor stumble? Did I trip 'cause I know I failed? All I know is I wake up here in my clothes tomorrow.